Hi, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about reeds, the tiny little piece of cane that really determines what we sound like when we play. So we're going to be talking about how to store reeds and how to make them sound better if they don't quite sound the way you want to when they come right out of the box. So when I get a new reed out for the first time, I'm just gonna start by actually sanding it on a blank white piece of paper like this. And what that's gonna do is just seal up the pores on the reed, because the reeds come from the cane plant, and plants have little pores through them and veins. You could think of it like that, so that the water can get through them. But we actually want to seal these up, because if our spit or water is getting through them, then they're not going to play quite as well. So I'll just rub it like this with my fingers, pushing down on it, just in circles, up and down, back and forth. And after I've done that for a couple of minutes and it feels nice and smooth and soft on the back, maybe I'll do that for like 3 minutes or so, I'll take the corner of the paper, flip it over, and start rubbing the top so that we can make the top nice and smooth as well. So just like that. Do that for a couple minutes or so. And then once the reed feels nice and soft, I'm going to use what is called a reed geek. And this tool is really handy because it can do a number of things. The first one is smoothing the back of the reed even more so that it's perfectly flat. Because if the reed is not perfectly flat on the back, then it's not going to seal as well to the mouthpiece. And that's really important so that we can get a good sound out of it. So to do that, I'm going to hold the reed in my 3 fingers like so. And I'm going to take the reed geek, it's basically like a little knife, and I'm going to use this corner of it to rub up and down, and that's going to give it a nice flat back. So just like that. Do that for a while until it seems nice and flat. I can flip it around and get the bottom of it as well. And this is something that you can do even if you've used the reed for a couple weeks and you just feel like it's warped a little bit. You can do it then as well, not just when you first take it out of the box. And you'll be able to feel with your finger that it should feel nice and flat. So that should be pretty good. The other thing that the reed geek can do is on the back of the reed, there's these little wings, which are basically, if you were to draw like a triangle, it would be this outer part, and that's how it's going to vibrate off of kind of like the neck or the stem of the center. And if these aren't perfectly even, then it also will feel a little bit unbalanced when you play. And actually there's a way that you can test this. So I have a reed on here already, and this reed has been feeling pretty good for me. But what you can do is basically you're just going to play a note, but you're going to tilt your head to one side. It's going to look kind of funny, and see how it sounds when you tilt it like that. And then we're going to check it, see how it sounds when we tilt it like that, and see if the wings sound even. So I'll give it a go. Okay, you can see when I went this side, it spoke a lot louder and clearer just right off the bat. So what that tells me is that I need to take a little bit off of the wing here. So to do that, I'm going to take the tip, and just like an eraser, I'm just going to erase right off the tip here. I'm just going to be nice and gentle, not too much at once, because we can always do more. So I just took a tiny bit. Let's see how it sounds now. Still needs a little bit more. So basically you can keep adjusting this until it sounds right to you, until it sounds even on both sides. And then after you've done that for quite a bit and you find that nice balance, when you play it regular, it should sound much better. And I'll actually need to do a little bit more work on this after, but now you know how to do it for yourself. So that's how I like to use the Reed Geek to adjust my reeds, and it's nice for getting reeds out of the box sounding good, and also reeds you've been using for weeks sounding good. And the other thing that we should talk about is reed storage. So it depends where you live. If you live in a dry climate, then chances are your reed is drying out and it needs to be kept more wet. If you live in a really humid climate, you might actually experience mold on your reeds, and that can be a big problem. And I've tried a number of different ways of storing them. I'm going to show you what I think is the best way. When I very first started playing saxophone, I used one of these, and these will help make so that the reed doesn't get like damaged or bent when it's being thrown around, but it doesn't have any humidity control, and so what's going to happen is it's actually going to end up getting warped. You'll see that the edge gets kind of like wavy and wiggly, and that's totally going to mess up your sound. So I don't recommend this. After that, I tried this, which I don't have one to show you, but you can buy humidity packs and you place it right here. And it's nice because it holds up to 8 reeds, and the humidity packs do help. But the thing is, you have to keep replacing them. They'll get hard after a while, and it's kind of like a continual expense, and I just didn't like having to deal with that. So what I ended up on that I really like is just using this pill bottle, and I've placed like little stickers on it so it looks more cute. But what you do is you're gonna take Listerine, like the mouthwash, and you're gonna get the yellow kind because it won't have sugar in it. And you can see I've just placed my reeds inside, and I've poured in some of this Listerine in the bottom. You can do about halfway, you can do a little bit less, see what you like. But what that's gonna do is the alcohol content in the Listerine is gonna keep so that mold doesn't end up growing on your reeds, which we don't want. And because it's sitting in this liquid all the time, it's gonna actually balance it so that it never dries out and it won't get warped, which is amazing. And I found that my reeds actually last a really long time this way. I can play them for even up to 3-4 months and they'll still sound great. So give this a try. And I think that it can be really helpful just to experiment with different reed strengths as well. I personally like to play kind of like a 3 soft or medium. These are the Select Jazz 3 medium reeds, and I also like playing the Boston Sax Shop reeds, and I think these are in a size 3 as well. There are also reed comparison charts too, because sometimes a 3 medium might not be the same in this brand as it would be like in a Van Doren brand or something else like that. So that can be good to experiment with. And the other thing I'll say is you can see that I have multiple reeds in here, and sometimes we just find one we like the best, or we want to keep track of what was the most recent reed we got out of the box. So a way that you can do that is just take a pencil, and because my reeds are sitting face down like this, I like to just draw on the back right here something that will help me remember which one it is. So maybe I can like draw a little number 1, or I could draw number 2, number 3, whatever will help me, and that can help me distinguish which reeds I want to use. One more thing, if you want to test how well your reeds are sealing, which is really important, you can place the back of your palm on the neck like this, and then I'm going to suck in air, and we should hear it kind of like hold itself for a second, and then eventually it will release into a pop. So let's try it and see what happens. Yeah. So it held itself for a little bit. The longer it holds itself before popping, the better, the more flat it is. So I'll probably do some more work on this until it gets that nice long wait until it pops off. But that can be a good tool to check how well your reed is sealing. So with that, thanks for watching, and let me know below if you have any comments or questions, and happy playing!